Good evening, my friend. Tonight, I want you to imagine a quiet little valley tucked between rolling green hills, a place so peaceful that time itself seems to move a little slower. In this valley sat a tiny village called Willow Creek. The village wasn't famous. No grand castle stood there, no bustling markets or crowded streets filled the air with noise. Instead, Willow Creek was known for something much simpler. It was known for being calm. Every evening, as the sun dipped below the hills and painted the sky in soft shades of gold and lavender, the villagers would finish their work and begin settling in for the night. The baker would brush flour from his apron. The gardener would place her watering can beside the greenhouse. The blacksmith would let the last glow of the forge fade into darkness. And as the village grew quiet, a warm amber light would appear at the edge of town. It belonged to a small lantern, not an ordinary lantern. This lantern hung outside a tiny cottage beside Willow Creek itself, where clear water gently flowed over smooth stones. The lantern belonged to an elderly badger named Oliver. Each evening, after making himself a cup of warm honey tea, he would light the lantern and place it beside his front door. The light wasn't bright. It didn't need to be. It simply glowed softly, like a friendly star that had wandered down from the sky. And somehow, seeing that lantern made everyone feel at ease. Nobody quite knew why. Perhaps it was because the warm light reflected beautifully on the water. Perhaps it was because Oliver always smiled and waved to anyone passing by. Or perhaps it was simply because some things bring comfort without needing an explanation. Tonight, as the stars began appearing overhead, Oliver settled into his favorite rocking chair. The chair creaked gently as it rocked back and forth. Beside him sat a sleepy orange cat named Maple. Maple wasn't actually Oliver's cat. She belonged to nobody and everybody at the same time. She spent her days wandering wherever she pleased and her evenings curled up beside whichever fireplace looked the coziest. Tonight, she had chosen Oliver's. The cat stretched lazily. Oliver smiled. "Good choice," he whispered. Outside, the creek flowed softly through the darkness. The sound was steady, gentle, almost like nature itself was humming a lullaby. Oliver took a sip of tea and watched fireflies dance among the reeds. They drifted slowly above the water like tiny floating stars. One by one, they blinked their golden lights, a flash here, a flash there, never hurried, never rushed. The entire valley seemed to breathe together. The trees swayed, the grass rustled, the creek murmured, and the lantern continued to glow. Hours passed peacefully. The moon climbed higher. Silver light spread across the hills. In the distance, sheep slept beneath ancient oak trees. Foxes curled up in hidden dens. Birds tucked their heads beneath their wings. Even the wind seemed tired. Oliver closed his eyes for a moment. Not because he was sleepy. Not yet. But because there was something wonderful about simply listening. Listening to the water. Listening to the leaves. Listening to the quiet. Sometimes the world could be very noisy. There were busy days and long journeys. There were worries and plans and endless things demanding attention. But not here. Not tonight. Tonight there was only the creek, the lantern, the stars, and the simple comfort of knowing everything was exactly as it should be. A shooting star crossed the sky. Its bright trail lingered for just a moment before fading into darkness. Oliver opened one eye. "Good night," he whispered to it. Maple purred softly. The rocking chair continued its gentle rhythm. Back and forth, back and and forth, like a boat floating on calm water. Soon the tea had gone cold. The fire had burned low, the lantern still glowed patiently outside, and the entire village slept peacefully beneath the moon. Oliver stood slowly and stretched. Maple followed. Together they walked to the front door. Oliver stepped outside for one last look at the night. The creek sparkled, the stars twinkled, the hills rested quietly beneath blankets of moonlight. Everything felt peaceful. Everything felt safe. Everything felt calm. Oliver smiled. Then he gently lowered the lantern's flame. Not all the way, just enough for a soft golden glow to remain until morning. A little light for anyone who might need it. A little reminder that home is never far away. Then he returned inside. Maple curled into a warm ball beside the fireplace. Oliver settled beneath his blankets. The cottage grew still. The lantern glowed softly. The creek whispered its endless lullaby. And beneath the sky filled with stars, Willow Creek drifted peacefully into sleep. And perhaps now, so can you. Good night.